Right, greetings everyone. I'm Ollie. I make music as a cult and kind of co-run a hip-hop label called The Faded Tapes. I'm about to do this little tutorial on sampling with the drum rack in Ableton. It's my first video for the Art of Sampling YouTube channel. The Art of Sampling is like a Facebook group where we're all sharing our beats and samples for sample-based music, basically. So if you're not involved in that, get involved if you're in the sample game. Right, so here I've got my sample from a song that I found, I've chopped it down into 8 parts and made it fit within 4 bars at 80 BPM. So yeah, take a listen to this little sample. So look, as you can see, I've cut it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, halfway between each bar. So each clip sample length is half a bar. So below that, I can select all of that like this. Below that, I've got my drum rack. It's empty right now, as you can see. So all I need to do, once I've found a song, chosen the song, found the section I like and chopped it down, just drag it down here into the drum rack. Now, I don't really like using the sharps for a sample, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp. So I'd like to space them apart, but I'm not exactly a pro in Ableton yet. I don't really know the keyboard shortcuts off by heart, so really I'm just going to have to do that manually, sadly. That's the way it is. So, just drag them one by one. Sample 4, sample 3 can go up to D. Oh, did it the wrong way around. E, F. So sample 5 goes down to G. Sorry, my bad. So look, all these samples now, we got them in here. But, as you can see, they just all blended into each other. So, look, I'm going to turn off this auto select. So every time I click a key, it doesn't just switch channel like that. So I'll turn that off. What else I want to do? I want to keep it on the one-shot mode, not on the slice or the classic. The one-shot is quite nice. So to start with, just want to go to sample 1. I don't really want this to be velocity sensitive. I don't want to accidentally play a key too softly and the sample comes out real low. So let's just put the volume and velocity knob just down to 0%. So it's 100 completely down to the volume of the original sample. And I want the exact volume of the original sample. So let's just drag this up to 0. There we go. Now this is the cool thing, one of the cool things. With the volume, we obviously want to apply this to everything, and it's not worked on everything. So the volume here, right click it, copy value to siblings. So I've copied the value to its siblings, which is sample 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as you can see, they've all moved up, but the velocity hasn't moved up, it's still the same. So put that down to 0, copy value to siblings. Now they're all copied. So we've got our samples laid out from one C all the way up to the next C on the keyboard, or your pads if that's what you're using. But they're all blending into each other, which is just weird. Nobody wants that. So look, let's go up here to the show and hide the chain list. Okay, we got this crazy looking thing coming up. And then we want to go to the in and out. So look, choke, right? So the choke groups are all about samples choking each other, samples cutting each other off. So let's put all of our samples into group 1. Yep, could have selected them all at once and done this. So now let's listen when I play the sample through on the keyboard. Now let's listen when I play around and chop, and how each sample will choke the other sample. Yeah, that's how I like it. Some people might not like it like that. So all our samples are on the one shot. That means I can just hit the sample and the sample will just play through. I don't really like to hold down notes when I'm doing the hip hop stuff, triggering samples, because you wanna smack the key and, not touch it again. I mean, when you're in the flow, that's what you do. You don't really want to be holding down each key one by one. Not me, at least. So yeah, another thing with the drum rack, we've got these little fades where we can, fade our sample out. Let's get back on the sample one, sorry. You heard it fade out. So listen. I can hear some pretty strong clicks at the beginning of all of these samples. So if I just replay that, I can hear it in my headphones, and I can fade it in a little bit, a bit less, because you don't want it to be too noticeable. So the click's gone to me. So I've got an 8 millisecond fade in. So if I copy that value to siblings, maybe the click will be gone from the others too. Good enough for me, although sample 8 is still a little crazy, man. Could even turn the volume down on sample 8 a little. That sounds alright. So I reduced it by about to -4 decibels, and sounds okay. So let's make a playthrough again. But that's not why we chop the sample. We chop the sample because we want to do some new crazy shit. So, let's mess around and see what we can come out with. Nice. Gangster. All right, might as well record that. Let's go. Which one was it? Okay. Yeah, obviously there was no click, so I've recorded it all out of time, but playing by itself, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it didn't loop back, but you get the drift. You can record things by yourself without my help. So that's the drum rack, man. Look, you can scroll up through octaves. It's very cool for chopping up the samples, and you can even put your drums in here too, and basically perform your beats live by hand if you wanted to. Right, so that's the basics of sampling with the drum rack in Ableton. I promise to go into more detail in some more tutorials, but you have to break them down a little bit. So enjoy, I hope it helps, and make sure you subscribe to the Art of Sampling channel, and I will see you next time. Peace.